were talking, we met at the Compass Retreat, and we started talking about, my desire to have a place in Breckenridge. And Betsy was so great to answer so many of my questions that we decided to do this little live chat so that all of you could get your questions answered too. So, last week we just sort of introduced ourselves, talked a little bit about why we love Colorado and why we think so many Texans flock to Colorado. And this week, Betsy has been kind enough to pull together some properties so we can sort of look at, what you can get for your money. Right, Betsy?
Yeah. So, so in the email we send out, we'll have collections that you can look into. So if you want to look at more properties, there'll be one that's condos under $1 million. There'll be one that's like the big crazy dream homes, and then single family homes. So if you want to see more properties, check the email, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, reach out to Heather and I, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of that. But while we're on the call, I'm just going to go through a couple sort of to give you an idea of what you can get for your price point in the various resorts in town. And then Heather's going to ask me a couple questions as we go along the way that we thought would be questions you guys might have, but otherwise we'll get going. Heather, is it cool if I go ahead and share my screen?
Go ahead and share your screen. I'm so excited to see these. Although I may have a little bit of real estate envy when we're done here.
Well, the prices, so I'm just going to put this over here so I'm not looking off to the side. And for the people who are with us on Instagram, you can go back, either jump over to Facebook and you'll be able to see the live stream that we're doing that actually has the properties. Otherwise, you can hop over to Facebook later and watch the recording, and it'll also be on YouTube. So this one is the first one I want to show you guys. So as far as under $1 million in Breckenridge, this one is actually, I'm going to show you on the map, is walkable to the base of sort of the family learning area. If you come to Breckenridge a bunch, that's the Quicksilver chair. So you just trot down Columbine Road, and then walk over by Maggie Pond, which is nice. So it's not ski in, ski out. But my honest recommendation, unless you have like a super urgent need to be ski in, ski out, is that what you see in a price bump. I think it's nice to be close to the slopes versus actually ski in, ski out, just like for what you'll pay.
And this is my favorite, because we're just beginner skiers in our family. So this little, family slope over here is sort of my favorite to ski down.
Yeah, it's a big, nice green. It's where if you have kids, it's where you drop your kids off for ski school. And then over by Maggie Pond, there's also like restaurants and stuff. So it's easy to, even if you just want to walk into town, it's not a bad walk. This complex all is sort of has this like mid-century modern vibe. They all have these windows next to the fireplace with the little stained glass trees, which I think are adorable.
Betsy, I am still seeing the one on Clubhouse Road.
Oh no! Oh, it's because we're on the others. Because I just dragged it to a different screen.
There we go. It's like that is not feeling mid-century modern to me.
So here's the map. That means you guys didn't see the map. Here's the map I was talking about. Here's Quicksilver. The base of the family slope, and ski school is these two tiny little things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the magic carpet.
Yeah, that's the place I like. That's where I'm comfortable.
So these are like all the units in this building have these awesome stained glass windows next to the fireplace. And really, like most of the units here, they're meant to be like a step more than a crash pad is a lot. So we'll see when we get into the second bedroom is a queen bed and then like big bunks, because it's so you can like fit all your family in. It's not necessarily meant to be one of the big houses where you can spend a bunch of time in the house. You're here to either be on the slopes or in the summer to go skiing. And this complex does have a big pool that's walkable across the street. And the nice thing with this particular unit is that your walkout, which is also just means that like if you're walking to the slopes, you can like send the majority of the family out that way. Carry your skis up and downstairs, which like I appreciate. So I really like that unit, and this whole sort of the whole Columbine Road area The other nice thing is it's a little bit quieter because you're not really
Mhm.
driving on this road unless you live over there, versus if you live in one of the areas that's more ski in, ski out, like 4 O'clock Road and Ski Hill can be pretty
Right.
busy because they lead up to the bases of the resort.
Right. Would you say you could walk to Main Street from there, or would
Yeah.
you be
So the
better off?
same little path. So you could either, right, so you either walk through here, because here's Main Street. So you'd
Yeah.
either walk just on the road, or if you wanted to go to dinner over somewhere over in Main Street
Mhm.
Station, you take the same path that you would to go to skiing, which is nice. So again, you're like close to town, close to the slopes, but it's a little bit quieter. And these also tend to be like a little cheaper, because I think we have people who look at a map and go, oh, it's too far, because they
Yeah.
don't know that there's
Yeah.
like little walking paths to pop you over. And then in Keystone, this complex is one of my favorites. So it's not right at the base. I'll zoom out maps, you can see, right? So here's the two main base areas for
Mhm.
Keystone. So it's not right at the base, but there a 3-bedroom would run you close to 2 million.
To be at the base.
To
Yeah.
be at the base. Maybe you could find something for like 1.5.
Mhm.
But whereas this is a 3-bedroom for 816, it does need to be updated. But I've had clients who updated a unit in this complex in the last year, and it looks great. So they're built well. It just needs a little, like, little zhuzh, little lipstick.
Yeah. And is it pretty easy to do that, Betsy, in terms of getting people in to
I mean,
do
right,
some
everywhere it's
lipstick?
a little hard right now.
Yeah.
But like my clients they did it from, I think, in 5 months.
Well, that's not
which was
bad.
yeah, it's reasonably fast. The things that are going to hold you up right now is the supply chain with everything else, like
Yeah.
how long it takes to get cabinets and that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
I have a couple of remodeling guys who I recommend out. And if they're not careful, I'm going to fill their whole schedule. But
Yeah.
if you talk to your realtor, the one thing that I would say is hard is if you don't have a connection in where you know somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
None of them have websites. Like,
Okay.
we're not we are a small town at the end of the day, right?
Mhm.
We're 38,000 locals. Compared to like on any given ski weekend, we're well over 200,000 people in the county.
Mhm.
So there is the fact that like we are a small town. So
Right.
because they can work enough off of word of mouth, most of them don't have websites. So like rely on your realtor, and they should
Okay.
be able
That's
to
really good
be able to
information.
connect you. Because you're not going to find them on Google. And as much as my little heart wants to like offer to build them all websites, I'm not going to do that.
No,
So
you've got another job.
yeah, it's what used to be my job.
Yeah.
So the other thing I really like about this complex is because there's a shuttle. This is the pool, which
Nice.
is great in the summer, right? And this particular unit, right? We talked about you can sit there with your wine and watch the kids. Just the other side of the pool, there's a bus stop. So there's free shuttles that run all through the county, and you're, depending on how many stops they pick up, you're like 5 to 10 minutes, and then they drop you off right at the base of River Run. So you don't, which River Run's the main base of Keystone. So you don't have to actually like drive your car over there and like all go at the same time, because that's a pain point that we hear a lot of people talk about as to why they want ski and ski out, is because they want their 14-year-old who wants to ride like first chair to last chair, like to be able to get on the slopes by himself so that you can finish your coffee. And something like this, while it's not ski and ski out, because there's a shuttle right there, that's like gonna take him right to the base. So long as you have, your cell phone and you can chat with him, you can be like, yep, go skiing. We'll come find you later. Or if someone gets tired, they can get home, and you're not dependent.
That would be me. I like to ski about 3 or 4 hours, and then the boys go.
Which is like a fully, I mean, honestly, as locals, we ski I ski like 3 hours tops. Because once it gets busy, I'm off the hill. But but that's the nice thing, is that like you don't all have to like agree when you're getting off the hill together, and you can achieve that in something like this or the last one I showed you, being ski in, ski out, because a lot of people are like, we have to be ski in, ski out, and it's because of that pain point. Whereas because of the shuttle systems that run, or being being walkable versus ski in, ski out, you can get that same sort of solution to the problem without having to pay the price that you would have to pay to actually be ski in, ski out.
Okay, I've got sorry, I apologize, I've got a puppy that's upset with the pool guy here in the background. So you guys may get a little bit of feedback there. I'll try to get that situated. Okay, I love this.
This one's in Blue River. Blue River is so this house particularly is like 10 to 12 minutes outside of Breck. Like that's to get you to the gondola. And if you want more of a house that everybody can hang out in, where you're like not just like a crash pad for skiing, this one is, something like this probably makes more sense. And you're right by a trailhead. So if I show you the map, it's not on the map, but if I zoom in, you can see how all of this is one big square. That's all national forest, and there's a trailhead right here. So for summer, if you want like to feel like you have a mountain escape, like Blue River really feels like you're in the mountains. It's, it's wooded, and you're sort of in this big valley that leads up to Breckenridge. So regardless of what side you're on, you get pretty views. Also, by being in Blue River, which I didn't mention this before, I'm going to bring the map back up. Where did it go? There we go. Goose Pasture Tarn is only for Blue River residents. So if you want to take, there's no motorboats on it, but if you want to take like a stand-up paddleboard or a kayak, there's a little parking lot right here, and it's only for Blue River residents. So Blue River is also great for the summer.
And so I'm trying to think about my Colorado geography, which isn't great. Is that like 5-10 minutes to downtown Breckenridge? Does that sound right?
The Goose Pasture Tarn's like 5. This house is like 10 to 12.
Okay. So definitely in the summer, you could drive in and spend the day, or you could shop and go to dinner.
And like to drive in to go skiing, like, I mean, we have like a lot of parking. So, I mean, because even if you're in Breckenridge, a lot of people, just because like, if you don't want to take the bus, or if the bus is like more of a walk that you want to do, a lot of people end up driving anyway. But this way, like, if you want to bring friends, or if you have family members who aren't big skiers, right? There's the hot tub, and you have the big family room to like, to hang out in and play board games and things. So like houses like this are more appealing, where the point of going to the mountains is like a big family vacation and everyone hangs out together, versus like, we are here to do sport. Which is what like the first 2 we looked at are a little bit more like, we are here to ski, or we are here to go hiking, come back here and like crash out because we're tired. This is more if you want people to like hang out. And this one's listed for just under 2 million. And again, that's where like, if you're willing to do that 10-minute drive versus say a 5-minute drive, you can really see a drop in prices.
And so Betsy, would you say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Would you say something like this would typically be sold furnished? So, if you were looking to get something for, spring break, that's probably too soon, or even the summer, it would be ready to use at purchase.
So most of our properties here are sold furnished, which is pretty normal for vacation markets. So we were 65%. I think we're now 70% secondary homeowners in the county.
Okay.
And right, like if you bought a house up here, like you have a fully furnished home, so you don't need to like take that couch back with you. And you're probably, and even if you're buying a different vacation property, because most vacation properties are sold furnished, you're probably not going to pull furniture out of this house to put into another one. So a lot of times it just rolls with the purchase. And they'll be listed. So the realtor I'd be able to tell you if it's fully furnished or partially furnished. And we get a list from the seller of what they're leaving. And it's actually a pretty simple process. It doesn't complicate as much. The one thing is just, which like, as a realtor, the only thing you need to know is like how you draft the offer, so we don't make underwriters unhappy.
Got it.
But
Understood.
Because they don't, right? Because we can't, like, you and I
they're not loaning on the furniture.
Right, we're not furniture salesmen. So,
that makes sense.
but
And
the nice thing then is like the day you close, like you just like we have people show up to closing sometimes like in their ski gear because they're
oh, that's
like
amazing.
they skied in the morning, we close at noon.
And then
They're
they
gonna
can go
pick up a
skiing and
pizza
come back
and go to
go
that, and
skiing.
I'm like,
Yeah,
here's your
that's
keys,
perfect.
and then they're gonna go to the house, and so like that's really nice. You
Yeah.
can take a vacation the day that you close on the house because when they say fully furnished, they mean towels and bed linens and
Well,
silver.
and if it were me buying it, I would definitely want to put my own touches on it over time, but just having it so you could use it immediately is so nice.
And you'd be surprised how many people never put their own touches on it.
Yeah.
Like they're more so in the condos than the houses. You see condos where people are like, they come here, they're here to ski, they're here to do their thing. They're not here to like do housework. So we end up with properties that are incredibly dated because the last 3 owners haven't replaced the couch and haven't replaced the bed.
Got it.
So which is it's kind of funny to see because like people don't like, you're here to be on vacation, not to do a project. So it's really more like how much it matters to you. And I know, so I did include a partial, which we'll talk about so I can show you what that is. Because I know some of these prices might be a little scary, or sound kind of crazy, right? For 2 million for a 3-bed, 3-bath compared to the price points in your market. So the other option, especially if you don't think you're going to use it a ton, would be to do a partial ownership, which is also called a fractional or a shared interest. So this property for 650,000, you could get what's called a quarter interest share, and that's 1 week a month. So you could get up here 1 week a month during ski season and 1 week a month in the summer, which for a lot of people, like you can't take more than a week off anyway.
Yeah.
Like at the time. Go ahead.
I have so many questions about this. Do you see mainly like groups of friends going in together on these, or is it
very
hard
rarely
to
do we see
find
all the shares for sale at once?
Okay.
So it's very so like that would be hard.
Okay.
So you're usually buying a piece. You're buying one of the pieces. And then through the property management company, they sort of manage everybody's schedules before you buy. You're shown a full calendar for usually the next 4 or 5 years. So it's a week a month, and then there's a rotating schedule of who gets Christmas and who gets 4th of July. So it's not like somebody always gets Christmas and 4th of July, because those are like our 2 most popular weeks, get rotated out. So like you would get 4th of July once every 4 years, and you would get Christmas once every 4 years.
And probably very much like selling stuff furnished. I mean, you all have, sort of the rules and regulations, and you can just share with people how this works. So that's obviously not something we're doing.
Yeah, this is like, there's like some more moving parts. You cannot use a national lender. We have one lender in town to lend on them. And the down payments are pretty significant.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. They're more than 20%, just to keep in mind. But the nice thing is, right, so like a house, like this is actually, it's one side of, this is a duplex. They're very nice duplexes.
Yes, very, very nice.
Ski slopes. Something like this, where you're getting a quarter share for 650, would easily sell for over 2 million. So it's like you get to be in this beautiful home and use it, and then usually you're able to rent out the weeks that you don't use.
Okay.
So yeah, so this sort of is like the price range, right? So like what we've looked at is I'm going to stop my screen share, is 2 bedrooms that are relatively close to the slopes, or like just under $1 million. If what I didn't show you, because there's not much on right now, this is our super low inventory time of the year, is if you want a condo that's under 800,000, there are certain parts of the county that are a little farther away where you're going to be more like 20 minutes to the slopes, and then you can get a 2-bedroom for
and just as a reminder for everybody, so I'll be sending this email out to all of my friends and contacts in the area, so they'll get links to those properties if they want to explore them more, as well as some links to I think you've got like a Mountain Homes to Dream About link. That
Yeah,
if we
so if
just
you
want
want
to
to
look
see
at some
like the
great
10
properties.
million to
Yeah.
$20 million homes, those are in that one. And then there is a link for condos under $1 million.
Great.
So you can see the ones that are, but again, those are like, and the interesting thing we didn't touch on is how much most of these homes, they're really built to be vacation homes. Like closets are
Yeah.
really small. Like they're
Right.
not going to look the same as a residential property.
Right. And of course, if somebody's looking for something really specific, if they know like, hey, I want to be in Keystone,
Yeah.
I have to be, ski in, ski out, they could reach out to me or to you because your contact info will be in that email, and just say, look, this is my specific request. I don't care about all these other things. If you could set me up
Right.
on a search for just these properties.
Yeah, which we
and
do
probably
see people who ski, who like know, who come up here to vacation a lot. Like you probably know where you want to be in town,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we can set up a specific collection for you, so you
Okay.
can like the same way that you would set up a property search for them in your area. I can set up something for them here, and even if you're looking in the next 3 years, like that's pretty normal up here. We're not like, I think whereas in a residential market, most people are going to make
Mhm.
a purchase in the like 3 to 6 months.
Mhm.
For us to work with, for me to start working with buyers more than a year out before they buy is pretty normal. So I want people to feel
That's
like
good to know.
I'm a resource, and like you are in no way wasting my time by talking to me early. Because the more educated we have you and the better prepared you are, like this, and the sooner you buy at the rate at which things are appreciating up here, the better.
Well, didn't you tell me it was like a 20% appreciation 2 years ago and then 22% last year? I mean,
yeah. So if you bought in 2019, there's a chance that your property appreciated, like, I think it's 43.6%. Which is insane. So buy sooner rather than later. But even if you're not ready to, like, I want people to feel like I can be a resource, even if
I appreciate that. And so just so everybody knows, we are going to jump on next Thursday at 12:30. And what are we going to chat about that time?
Next week is financing, which is a little
exciting stuff.
Yeah, exciting stuff. But
I will have a cocktail while we discuss finance.
Yeah, honestly, like it's more just to go over what the differences are, and we can touch a little bit on financing a partial. But again, it's one of those things, like the sooner you start thinking about it, the more like the sooner you can be ready for it. So while it's pretty boring and dry, like this was like pretty, maybe we'll find a way to like put up some pretty pictures while we talk numbers.
Perfect. I also think part of that conversation is, are you planning to Airbnb it? Are you not? How much does it cost to, rent it out?
So short-term renting your property, we'll talk about the following week.
Perfect.
So next week will be financing, and then we'll talk about like how you can use short-term rentals to help cover some of your carrying costs of owning the property. And then the week after that, we'll talk about how to actually short-term rent. So I know that some of them are a little dry, but we'll try to throw in some examples of properties while we talk about those things, so that it's
great. Well, I really appreciate you sharing all the properties you did today. And like I said, we'll get those out on the email. We'll post this to Facebook and YouTube and all the places. So if you didn't get to stay on for the whole thing, it's totally worth a rewatch. And we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Heather.